This is a reply to JW Science. I wanted to give a good reply. It's good that he is asking questions, but he is asking the wrong questions. First, let's clarify his argument. How was the first man created? His argument is, since the current science doesn't agree with what the Bible says, then the Bible is incorrect. The problem with his reasoning is that science is always changing. What understanding of the universe today could be completely different tomorrow. And seeing how science communities have been corrupted by certain trains of thought, it would be very difficult for them to reach the same conclusion. A good documentary is called No Intelligence Allowed with Ben Stein. It explains how the very idea of intelligent design is not researched in any way. This is not science. Science looks at every possible scenario to come to the correct understanding or conclusion. Because they have dismissed that possibility without evidence, they simply cannot rule it out. This being said, what is a good question that he should ask? Well, number 1, does science have a good explanation for how mankind got here? Or how life began? And the answer is no. It doesn't. Science doesn't have an explanation of how life began. Everything currently is a guess or a theory. Can you put faith in a guess? If you put your faith in purely science, then you must be able to prove it. You must be able to reproduce the experiment. Otherwise, it's just a guess. In the 1950s they tried to reproduce the exact circumstances to produce life. And they found it was impossible. So if they couldn't produce life in a lab under controlled circumstances, how it is possible for life to begin in the wild? So at this point the only conclusion is you putting faith in something. Something that you cannot prove. The irony is that you think Christians are crazy for putting faith in something they don't understand, when in reality you're doing the same thing. Along with that idea, you're also saying that you believe in a purely physical world. You're saying that you have only faith in things you can see or touch. Do you honestly believe that the whole universe is just physical? Just think about someone who didn't understand the atomic world or the whole universe before it was discovered. Is it possible that science hasn't discovered the answers yet? And it's possible that they won't find those answers because they refuse to look in the right direction? On the other hand, the Bible has a wonderful track record of being accurate from science to archaeology. People put faith in it because of its accuracy. For example, critics of the book of Isaiah often accused it of that book being written much later or in 2 different books because of how accurate prophecies were fulfilled. In a comment, I said how science has its sacred cows. For example, climate change. The data doesn't support the hockey stick model. And they don't have an explanation for the Great Hiatus. Also, the solutions completely are anti-human, which includes reducing energy, which will cause death. Instead of solutions such as planting trees or taking carbon out of the air and making graphene. Or nuclear power. They also have no explanation of why it was much colder in the Middle Ages with much more CO2 in the air. They only want expensive green energy that will bankrupt the West. Or how about biology? Currently gender theory is completely against biology. Some even go on to say that you're born gay. However, in one generation, we are seeing data of 22 out of 30 students coming out as gay at the 4th grade level. How could you possibly call that genetic? On top of that, let's say you believe in evolution. What biological purpose does being gay or transgender or anything of the sort have? All these remove the ability to have or make children. This would be the opposite of evolution. The point of the matter is, I'm glad you're out of the cult. But your questions people have been asking since life began, and smart men than you or I have found satisfying answers with the meaning of life with Christianity. Your argument isn't as easy as you're making it to be.